Artificial sweeteners were designed to taste like sugar without the calories. But could they also carry hidden risks, including cancer? Aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, and stevia are the most common sugar substitutes. Each has been studied for safety, but the results are complex. Early studies in the 1970s linked saccharin to bladder cancer in rats. This created a wave of fear that still lingers today. But later research found that those rat results don't translate to humans. Saccharin was eventually removed from the list of suspected carcinogens. Aspartame, one of the most widely used sweeteners, has faced repeated scrutiny. Animal studies raised red flags, but human evidence remains inconsistent. In 2023, the World Health Organization classified aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans. This does not mean it causes cancer, only that evidence is limited. At the same time, the FDA and the EFSA maintain that aspartame is safe at normal consumption levels. This leaves the public caught between conflicting messages. Sucralose, another common sweetener, is hundreds of times sweeter than sugar. Some lab studies suggest it may damage DNA, but these findings are controversial. Stevia, derived from a plant, is often seen as a natural sweetener. Current evidence suggests it is safe, but long-term studies are still limited. Sweeteners are everywhere, in diet sodas, protein powders, chewing gum, even toothpaste. Most people consume them without realizing it. Epidemiological studies follow large groups of people over time. Some suggest higher cancer risk with heavy sweetener use. But confounding factors like obesity make it hard to prove. Randomized controlled trials are the gold standard, but they're short-term and often too small to detect rare outcomes like cancer. Animal studies allow testing of high doses, but results don't always apply to humans. What harms a rat may not harm us, or vice versa. One theory is that sweeteners may disrupt the gut microbiome, altering bacteria in ways that increase inflammation and possibly cancer risk. Another hypothesis, sweeteners trick the brain and body, leading to metabolic changes that indirectly raise cancer risk through obesity and insulin resistance. Sweeteners are calorie-free, but they may still influence hunger and cravings. The body's response isn't as simple as taste without calories. Some studies show that people who drink diet sodas still gain weight. This paradox could be explained by changes in appetite regulation. Obesity itself is a major cancer risk factor. If sweeteners help reduce obesity, they might indirectly lower cancer risk. That's the other side of the debate. The question isn't only, do sweeteners cause cancer, but also, do they help prevent it by fighting obesity? The answer may depend on the individual. Ultimately, moderation is key. Occasional use of sweeteners is unlikely to be dangerous, but heavy dependence may carry unknown risks. Public health agencies set acceptable daily intakes, or ADAS, for each sweetener. For most people, actual consumption is far below these safety thresholds. Still, children and heavy soda drinkers may approach or exceed the RD, especially when multiple sweeteners are combined in products. Cancer risk is rarely about one single food or chemical. It's about overall lifestyle, diet, exercise, genetics, and environment all interact. Comparing risks is important. Alcohol, smoking, and obesity pose far higher cancer risks than sweeteners ever could. But scientists continue to study sweeteners because they're consumed by billions of people daily. And even a tiny risk could affect public health. Artificial sweeteners remain one of the most controversial topics in nutrition science. The debate continues, fueled by conflicting evidence. Some experts argue that replacing sugar with sweeteners is one of the best tools we have to combat obesity and diabetes. Others caution that replacing one problem, sugar, with another, sweeteners, may not be a true solution. The science is evolving. Each new study adds another piece to the puzzle, but the full picture is still incomplete. For now, the safest choice is balance, limit sugar, use sweeteners sparingly, and focus on whole, unprocessed foods. Sugar activates powerful reward centers in the brain. Sweeteners mimic the taste but don't fully trigger the same dopamine response, possibly altering cravings in unexpected ways. Children are now major consumers of diet drinks, but most long-term safety studies focus on adults. That leaves a big gap in our knowledge about risks in younger populations. For people with a rare condition called PKU, aspartame is dangerous because they can't process phenylalanine. For everyone else, this risk doesn't apply, but it shows how genetics matter. Some evidence hints that sweeteners may interact with the immune system. Could these subtle changes in immune surveillance affect cancer risk? Scientists don't yet know. Meta-analyses, the combination of many studies, show inconsistent results. Some suggest a small cancer risk increase. Others find no connection at all. Healthy gut bacteria produce protective compounds called short-chain fatty acids. Some studies suggest sweeteners disrupt this balance, potentially increasing inflammation and cancer risk. Despite decades of debate, there is no clear evidence that artificial sweeteners directly cause cancer in humans. But the question remains alive because the data is incomplete. Our bodies evolved to process natural sugars from fruit and honey. Sweeteners are entirely new to human biology, and evolution hasn't prepared us for them. Some research links sweeteners to metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions that includes obesity, diabetes, and higher cancer risk. Again, the evidence is still emerging. That's the paradox. Sweeteners may reduce obesity, which lowers cancer risk, but they might also introduce new risks. Science is still trying to untangle this balance. Most studies show sweeteners don't cause DNA breaks, but scientists are watching for more subtle effects, like whether they interfere with DNA repair systems. To put things in perspective, compared to smoking or alcohol, sweeteners are a very minor risk factor, if they're a risk at all. Many health experts recommend keeping sweeteners as an occasional option, but prioritizing water, tea, and natural foods for daily hydration. Dozens of new studies are underway. Researchers are exploring whether certain cancers, like liver, pancreatic, or bladder, are more sensitive to sweetener exposure. Learning to read food labels is key. Artificial sweeteners aren't just in drinks, they're hidden in sauces, gum, yogurt, even vitamins. Since the 1980s, sweetener use has skyrocketed. That makes studying their health impact even more urgent. Some experts argue sweeteners are life-saving for reducing sugar intake. Others warn they could be a ticking time bomb. Both sides agree, more data is needed. This isn't just an American issue. From Europe to Asia, billions of people now consume artificial sweeteners daily, making this a global health question. In the end, sweeteners are just one piece of the puzzle. Diet, exercise, stress, and genetics all play far bigger roles in determining cancer risk. So, do artificial sweeteners cause cancer? The final word, not proven, but not cleared either. The science continues, and your best defense is a balanced, healthy lifestyle.